Hey folks, welcome back to Mark Kelly Farm. As promised, it's butchering day here on the farm. We had a neighbor nice enough to give us some chickens, so we're going to process them today, so stick around. So we put the word out, we were looking for a chicken plucking machine because I was interested in doing some meat birds next year during the spring, summertime, right around there. And I had one of my nice neighbors get back to me saying that they had one that we could use, but they also had some chickens that they had purchased and had raised for meat birds, and things have, stuff has come up where they don't have time to process them and get them done, and they offered them to us. So that was quite a nice surprise. And we're always happy to help people out, and they're helping us out by giving us a bunch of meat birds. So we went and got the birds. Here's all the birds here. They're all cockerels. They're a kind of a combination breed, mixed breed. So they're pretty large birds, so they're going to make nice meat birds. There's 15 of them. So we've got set up here on the farm, and we're getting ready to do them, and we'll show you the setup that we got. You want to kind of set up your operation in a working order so things work and you're not running all around. So let's show you what we did. Kelly's with us today, of course. It's going to be a huge help because this is going to take two people to get done fairly quickly. So we have our birds here in the back of the truck. Right adjacent to the birds, we have our cones here that we made on the last video. And then from this point, they're going to go in here to the shop. And we have a scalding pot going in here. We're going to run the scalding pot anywhere between 140 and 170 degrees. And then once they come out of the scalding pot, they'll come over here to the plucking machine. They'll be in here till the feathers are gone. And then they're going to go to the processing table. And then once the animals are processed, we'll put them in these tubs or on these trays over here out of the way. And I think we're going to go down to pieces and parts today. We're not going to do any whole birds. If we do, it'll only be a few of them. So we're going to get this operation started, and we'll do a video along the way. We'll show you how all this stuff works and the process in harvesting these birds. All right, folks, we've been slaving away at it. We're down to the last few, so we're going to go through how to do this. So the first thing is you grab a chicken out of the cage, obviously, and then you put them in the cone. If you see this guy's cheek right here, see the red cheek? Once you get him in the cone, you want to make a slice right underneath this red little cheek right here. And you want to do it on the side. You don't want to hit the windpipe on the front. And then do it on both sides. And then your chicken will start bleeding really well. And it may jump around a little bit. That's normal. That's a normal, like, what's it called, babe? Reflexes? Yeah, it's their reflexes. They're like kind of dying reflex. But then the chickens bleed out. And I'm not going to show you a hanging, bleeding, dead chicken, because you can imagine what that looks like. And YouTube may send us off the rails if we do that. So Kelly's getting ready to grab one of these chickens, and we're going to go scald it. So our scalding water, we've been running at 160 degrees. Seems to be working the best. So we've got to throttle the burner back and forth. She's got an instant read thermometer.
About there.
So we're about there. She's going to go grab us a chicken. All right, she's got a chicken. She's going to put it into the pot. She's actually going to hold it by the legs and put it underneath the water. And she's going to do this for about 30 to 45 seconds, making sure all of the feathers get into the water, holding it down underneath the water. We were doing it a little bit longer in the beginning, and we figured out it was too long. So she feels the feather, and they're coming off real easy. So that's all it takes. We're going to go out here to the machine. And I'm going to stay back a little bit because this thing slings stuff everywhere. So we're going to turn it on. We're squirting cold water into the machine. So she's watching the bird as it goes around. When it's pretty well done, she shuts her off. And there's always going to be just a little bit of hand plucking, but sometimes they come out super clean. This one's pretty clean. There's feathers on the head, but most of that's going to come off with the head. So she's yanking these feathers off, and then she's going to throw them over here on my table. So we're going to take the head off now, right here on the neck. Chop that through. That goes down in the bucket. We want to take our legs off. You bend them like this. Hit them right in the middle. You'll feel the tendon give way. And then turn it over. You can see right here what kind of looks like the bottom of a chicken leg. Go right below that. And you'll feel it give away the other way. And then come down the sides on both sides. Like that. Kind of snap it, make sure it's loose. And then right through the rest of that. So we'll do the same thing on the other side. Get it right in the middle. Flip it over. Right below what looks like a chicken leg. Down the sides. You'll notice it'll kind of release once you go down the sides a little bit. Like that. Kind of pop it, and that popped right off. So next we're going to take the oil sac out of the hind end here. Come in right behind it and just kind of carve it out. Take it right off of there. And then we're going to come up in here up front. You can see right here is the craw, and it's got quite a bit of stuff in it. Let's wash my knife off a little bit. So we're going to come in here, pinch the skin like that, get it up off of there. And then we're going to open that up. We nick the craw a little bit. But you want to work your fingers down around in there. And this is just undigested grain. You can see the grains they've been eating out in the field. That's all that is. It hasn't been digested down into the stomach yet. And there's rocks and stuff in here too. You'll find. So you're just going to work the craw off of the breast right there. Pulling that off, work your way around. This one's going to get a hair messy because I nicked it. That's all right. We'll hose it all right back off. And then just work it around. You're going to get your finger up underneath the windpipe. Pull that out, make it loose. Run your fingers in here, make sure everything's loose in there. And then we'll continue working that craw off of there. And it's going to be attached to the esophagus up underneath there. So run your finger underneath that. Pull that out. Make sure it's all loose in here. And then we'll wash all this loose. Pull this craw off of here. A little slippery. It'll pull through the bottom. So watch out, Kel. We're going to wash this grain off of here. Always keep your surface clean. So we're going to go around here at the back. We're going to trim right underneath that breastbone. You feel it right there. Stay up towards the breastbone. And you're going to find the gizzard right here in the bottom. You're going to pull it out, and that's going to give you room to get in there. Because there's not a lot of room, especially with a guy like me who's got big hands. So you're going to go as far as you can forward. Get underneath everything you can in there. And you're going to start pulling that out. Now all of your entrails are going to come out pretty much together once you get underneath that stuff. So there we go. So just kind of tail that stuff out. Get it all out, and you're going to go down to one section of the intestine there. You're going to cut down both sides of the vent like that, and then you're going to cut across, and that releases it from the bird. All we're saving here is our gizzard. So I'm going to pull the rest of the guts off of the gizzard, and then we're saving the gizzard over here in this tub. Now I'm going to get my hands in here. We got to get the lungs out if they didn't come out with the other. The esophagus and the craw comes out from the front. You see we got one more piece there we got to pull through. I believe that's the windpipe, if I can get a hold of it in there. If you can't find it from the back, just grab it and pull it out from the front if you can get it. Sometimes it's hard to grab hold of. Yeah, it's being real stubborn. We got it. Alright, so feel for anything left up in there. Pretty much we're all clean. And now we're going to get the hose. Clean our table off again. Wash the bird up a little bit. We're going to spray the inside of the cavity. You're going to see all the stuff come out. And you keep doing that, rubbing the hose around until it's pretty much the water cleans up. The outside of bird, another cleaning. Wash that front section out where the craw was, and then we're good to go. And that's how you clean the bird. You can see they got some of the yellow fat on them. That's because these birds were free ranging a little bit. That's why you saw all the grain in their craw. It wasn't just commercial food, so that's where they get this yellowing. It's nothing to be worried about. As you can see, we're almost done. Here's all our birds over here. Nice and clean. So we got a couple more to finish up, and then we're going to clean these gizzards. I'll show you how to clean one of these gizzards. So we'll show you how to clean one of these gizzards. This is darn near frozen. So you'll see kind of the edge of it here, and it's going to be full of food. It's pretty much the chicken's stomach. So we're going to cut it right down that edge, and there's a real thick membrane on the inside of the stomach. So we'll just keep cutting that down until we can peel that open. And that's the stomach contents of the bird. We're going to wash all that out. There's a rock in there, all kinds of stuff. So wash the inside and out. So now, you can see this really thick membrane in here. This is going to pull out of here fairly easy because it's cold. You just got to kind of get up underneath of it, find a spot you can get underneath of it, get it started, like right there. So you're going to pull that off, and the colder they are, the easier they come off. If they're still nice and warm, sometimes it may fight you just a little bit. So that's pretty much just like the stomach lining. And then you got a nice clean gizzard. That's a real nice big gizzard. A lot of meat in that. Now normally when you're processing chickens, if it was a warmer time of the year, you would want to have like a big ice chest here full of water. Icy water. You could throw the chicken in once it's been cleaned and processed, but we're close to freezing out here. In fact, we're below freezing. You can see the ice building up on our tarp here. We laid a tarp down so we're not walking in mud. It's been working out really nice. We're on a kind of a slope. The water goes out into that grassy area there. You can see quite a mess underneath the plucking machine there. We're going to have to clean all this stuff up. Some of it's going to be reserved for tomorrow. But we got to get rid of all the guts and stuff tonight. We're going to dig a hole with the tractor and throw that stuff in there. And then we'll probably clean up all these feathers tomorrow. Now most of these chickens, I'm going to spend the evening inside the house where it's a little warmer. We'll keep these out in the garage because it's nice and cold out in the garage, and I'll pull them in a couple at a time. And I'm going to part these chickens out, and I'm going to save the backs. And everything but the back is going to go into a package to be frozen. And then the backs are all going to be used to make chicken stock. And we'll do a video on that too. There's a bunch of videos on the internet about that, but we'll do one. All right, so we're in the house. It's crazy freezing cold outside, so we've got all the chicken out in the garage. It's staying nice and cool out there. But we're bringing them in a little bit at a time, and we're cutting them up. And we're going to show you how to cut it real quick. So I start with the wing. So you can see the natural joint right there. Just go right down into that joint, just like that. And the wing will kind of want to separate on its own. I try to get a little bit of this meat down here with it, kind of stealing some of Kelly's breast meat. And then you'll see I just broke it right here. So you just want to work on those tendons right there around that joint. And then carve down there into that meat and take that with it. Now I take the tip of that wing and throw it like that. I'm separating all the wings from the rest of the chicken because I'll cook those separately just if we want to do some chicken wings. So we cut down into there, cut the top. I'm going to snap that joint, and we can see right there where it went through. And we're going to cut that tendon on both sides. See right in there. And we'll fold that wing up real nice. So now we're going to work on the leg quarters. So you can see the leg quarter kind of got a seam right here. So we're going to follow that seam down right all the way to the backbone. And then we're going to do the same on this other side. Right in there. And then we're going to open it up. And as we open it, it snaps that joint. So you want to come all the way up here where that seam is and cut right to that joint. And then once you get it separated, it should come right off of the bird. Just like that. So we'll do the other leg quarter the same way. Cut it all the way down. Do the same thing on this side. We're going to snap it. See that bone pop out. And we're going to cut right around that bone, and we got two perfect leg quarters. Now we're going to remove a whole breast. We're not going to cut it in half. You can see this seam in the breast right here. We're going to go right underneath that with some good kitchen shears, right up under that wishbone. Same thing on this side, right up under that wishbone. And then we're going to grab both pieces, the half and, or the back and the breast, and we're just going to pull it apart just like that. And it'll pull right apart, and we have a whole breast that will leave intact like that. Now the back, I just put the back on the cutting board right here. Give it a good whack kind of in the middle, somewhere in here. And then I just chop through it with my hand. Now all the backs we're putting into this pot right here. If you want to take a look inside. This is going to be our fantastic chicken stock. We're going to cook this down tomorrow. We'll probably show you how we do it. But that's how we break down a chicken. We'll show you the bags that we're putting them in. We're putting them in shrink or vacuum sealed bags. And I'm doing a whole breast and 2 leg quarters. So that gives you 2 thighs, 2 legs, and a whole breast. And that'll be plenty for me and Kelly for dinner. So we'll come back and we'll show you when we're vacuum sealing. All right, mission accomplished for tonight. We're going to finish this in the morning and it'll be on this video. But we've just bagged up all of our chicken, basically the parts from one chicken, the thigh, the legs, and a whole breast in one bag. I use in gallon vacuum seal bags. All of our backs are in here in the pot for tomorrow. We've got some gizzards in that tub there. Here in Nebraska, your garage is like having a walk-in cooler or a walk-in freezer, depending on what time of year it is. So all of this would not fit in, our extra fridge and extra freezer. So it's really nice to be able to put it out here. And the reason we haven't sealed these yet, if we were to seal these right now with all the juice, as it vacuum seals, all that juice is going to run up into the seal. So we're going to put it out here in the garage. It should freeze or almost freeze out here tonight. And then we'll be able to vacuum seal these in the morning without the juices flowing up into the seal. And you'll see that when we do that. We'll be doing it here in a second. All right, it's the next morning. Now last night, even though it got to be 11 degrees outside, here in the air-controlled garage, it didn't even freeze. So it was cooler cold out here, but it wasn't freezer cold. So we've been having to shuttle this stuff about 6 bags at a time down into our downstairs freezer to freeze up the liquid in these packages, like this frozen liquid here. Because like we said last night, we don't want it to attack the seal when we're sealing it. So that's what we're doing. We're getting her done. So this is our vacuum sealer that we use. It's, I believe, Game Saver by Food Saver. It's got the locking thing over here on the end. We're really pleased with it. I like this model. I've had the other models before where you got to kind of push down on the unit, but this one locks down and does it all on its own. Now, one thing that I do after it seals, when that red light goes off, you've probably seen this on a couple of our other videos when we're doing this, I'll pull the bag out to where it's just right at the edge of the channel. We close that back up and then we just hit seal, and that puts a double seal on the end of the bag. Gives you a little bit of insurance for that thing losing its seal and your stuff getting freezer burned. So that job is complete. We have all of our chicken vacuum sealed and in the freezer. We came out with 15 bags of chicken pieces that we can use for dinner. We have a whole gallon bag full of gizzards that we'll cook up at some point. We'll do a video on that for you. It's the best gizzards you'll ever eat. And then we got 2 full gallon bags of chicken wings, which we'll just cook as chicken wings for like buffalo wings or something like that. So that'll be nice. So join us on our next video. We're going to take all of those other pieces, the backs, and we're going to make some chicken broth with those. We'll show you how that's done, and we'll can it up. So come back and see us here on Mark Kelly Farm. Stay safe, stay healthy. We love you guys. See you later.